Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia and this is the fourth episode of my Bookish Favourites Advent Calendar. Today I want to talk about Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which is my all-time favourite Jane Austen novel. If you haven't read any Jane Austen, if you're only going to read one Jane Austen, make it this one. This is her second published novel and it was published in 1813. And I've spoken about this book quite a lot on this channel. I do go on about it. Not that it doesn't deserve it, but every time I've spoken about this book, I've assumed that you kind of know the plot, that you know what it's about, so I rarely actually talk about the plot of the book. But for this video, let me give you a quick synopsis of what the story actually is in this, and of course this will be spoiler free. This book is set around the Bennet family, who are made up of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their 5 daughters. Now they are not the richest, but they are comfortably well off in their house in the countryside. However, since there is no male heir to the family, all of the daughters and the wife are going to lose the house and all of the wealth unless one of the daughters marries a rich man. It is very important for the wealth of the whole family that one of the daughters marries off well, and with that background we follow the second daughter, Elizabeth, as a new wealthy handsome bachelor moves into the neighbourhood. Now what follows then is a series of romantic entanglements. There's revenge plots, old rivalries, misunderstandings, and a good deal of scheming from various characters in the book. I love this book so much. I feel like I don't even have to say that I love this book so much, but I'm going to try and explain why I love it so much. The plot of Pride and Prejudice always reminds me of a very intricately woven net curtain that is so complex and yet really beautiful and symmetrical and just has an inherent sense of completeness. It is a really beautifully mastered plot, even just if you look at a plot summary or if you look at a graph of the relationship between the people. There is so much beautiful complexity there. And this intricately woven net curtain is made up of relationships between people, familial, romantic, platonic relationships, relationships that connect people through money and society, through family, through marriage, of course, and through circumstances. The characters themselves are absolutely standout, and I could make a whole series of videos, probably over a dozen videos about each of the individual characters in this book. From Georgiana Darcy, who only appears on a couple of pages, to Mrs. Bennet, who is probably my favourite literary mother. All of the characters feel like such well-rounded people, even if they only appear in a few sentences. Jane Austen has also mastered the craft of portraying aspects of society itself, with its ideas and values and prejudices, of course, through these human relationships between these characters. And that is so incredibly clever. The book itself is very cleverly written. It's very funny. Jane Austen's often described as witty. And there is just so much richness, so much depth, so much detail in this story that it has inspired countless sequels and spin-offs and retellings. And that alone should give you a hint of the sheer amount of quality that you will find inside this book. And I urge you, if you haven't read Pride and Prejudice, to pick it up and read it, especially if you are interested in classics. Especially if you are interested in books about society, because even though Jane Austen is very much writing about her own early 19th, late 18th century society, there is a lot in this book that applies very much to today. So with that said, let me know your opinion of Pride and Prejudice in the comments. Even if you don't love it as much as I do, that's fine. See you tomorrow, and thank you for watching. Bye!